Hello everybody, I'm Dan Hayek with Matt Doyle here for another edition of our special SuperDraft scouting report. We're looking at 4 teams in this one, starting with the Montreal Impact, who actually have 2 first-round picks, the number 8 and the number 18. Matt, is there any chance they try to turn this into a Serie A and a Serie B player?
I think anybody whose last name ends with a vowel has a good chance of being picked by the Impact at this point. But no, they obviously have some needs all over the pitch. I don't think they're going to go defensive. They probably want to get their defensive players from Serie A or Serie B. So they're number 8. They'll pick the best talent left. Blake Smith, Carlos Alvarez, Eric Hurtado. Those are the type of names. Expect most of, or if not all of, the Generation Adidas guys to be off the board by then. With 18, I think they're going to end up taking Boston College's Kyle Becker. He's a guy who didn't project as a first-round pick, but MLS already signed him to a guaranteed contract. That means somebody has given him a promise. And honestly, he's a Canadian kid. He's trained with the Impact. He can play all over the midfield, so he kind of makes sense there.
At number 7, we have FC Dallas, and of course, during Schellas Hyndman's time there, they've had great success picking defensive talent such as Zach Lloyd, Matt Hedges, and George John. But this time around, is it time to look at the attack?
I don't think so. I think they're pretty satisfied with the core that they have to build around, and they haven't had good luck with the attack. So the really easy answer right here is Dylan Powers. He's a local kid to Dallas. They're very familiar with him. He had a very, very good 4-year run with Notre Dame, and he fills a need in central midfield. He can play both sides of the ball. He could create a little. He could defend a little. He'll run all day. He's not the fastest guy. He's not an incredible athlete, but they have a team full of incredible athletes. They need some soccer players, and he will be able to fit right in with David Ferreira and just get him the simple ball and let him create. I think it's a slam dunk. It's a very, very easy pick for Dallas.
A pick above them at number 6 is the Colorado Rapids, and of course with Oscar Pareja in charge, that means looking for a player that'll fit into his 4-3-3. Last year they succeeded with Tony Cascio, who really fits into that style Pareja's trying to get them to play. Can they find success again here at number 6?
Well, I think they do need more depth on the wings, but what it's going to come down to for the Rapids is whoever is the last generation Adidas guy left on the board. Chances are it'll be one of Eric Zavaleta, Deshaun Brown, or J.J. Johnson. Now, Brown isn't officially signed yet, but he's expected to be. Another name, Kekuta Mane, who's kind of a mystery man in this one. Nobody's seen too much of him because he's only played PDL. All of these guys add various things to the attack. Brown is speed, a lot like Darren Maddox. Johnson is kind of a Sire Sen type, 9.5, drifts around a little bit. Mane is apparently all speed and 1-versus-1 ability. Zavaleta, a pure number 9. Go in there, learn from Edson Buttle, hold the ball up. Or they may see Zavaleta as a central defender. I think that would be a mistake, but expect one of those guys to be the pick for Colorado.
All right, and finally we have the Vancouver Whitecaps, our final playoff team of our countdown. The Whitecaps have the 5th pick and the 10th pick. They have the number 5 pick because of a trade with Philadelphia. Of course, you can package the 5 and 10 to get a proven MLS talent, or do you stay pat and get a couple college kids?
Well, if I'm calling the shots for Vancouver, I stand pat. We've seen it year after year after year. Good teams in MLS build through the draft. Last year, Vancouver, only 11% of their minutes were played by players taken in the draft. It was by far the lowest in the league. What they need to do with the first one is just find some depth via the Generation Adidas. Doesn't matter which one is left, whether it's Brown, whether it's Johnson, Zavaleta. Pick one of them, groom him in a position. With the second one, Ashton Bennett makes a lot of sense. He's a guy who's flown under the radar a little bit. He's a tricky forward. He's not an incredible athlete. He's not by any means a bad athlete, but he's just the type of guy who turns up in the right spots. Jamaican with Canadian residency as well, so he does not count as an international for Vancouver. That's important to a team that does like to look overseas to fill out their roster.
All right, well, when we come back tomorrow, you'll be able to find out who Matt thinks will be taken 1, 2, 3, and 4. See you then.